What's going on YouTube? Long time no see. It has been about 2 months I think since I last posted a video, but I'll kind of go into why that is and future plans for the channel in a future video. I just want to keep this one strictly informational. So the topic, as you see by the title, is increasing training frequency for increased gains. So this topic is very relevant for my training right now because currently I'm doing a push-pull legs, training everything twice a week, and I'm about to switch to an upper-lower, training everything 3 times a week. So I figured I'd make this video letting you guys know some of the benefits of increasing training frequency and how you can actually modify your current training to do higher frequency without, potential risks of getting injured. So for those of you who may not know what the term frequency means in relation to training, basically it's how often you train a given body part. So the common bro splits or the old school bodybuilding style is to train every body part once a week. That's a frequency of 1 time per week for every body part. So the problem with this style of training, especially if you are not enhanced or a natural bodybuilder, aka you're not using any steroids or performance enhancing drugs like myself and most of you all watching. So when you lift weights, you actually stimulate muscle protein synthesis. This is basically your body flipping on the on switch to, grow your muscles, get bigger and stronger. And when you first start out lifting, muscle protein synthesis can be activated for up to 72 hours after you lift weights for that given body part. So if you do chest on Monday, then you'll be growing potentially for 72 hours after lifting, but that is for beginners. For the average trainee, muscle protein synthesis is activated for 48 hours at the most, so 2 days after you lift a given body part. But as your training age and your experience and your level increases, that muscle protein synthesis activation window decreases. Sometimes it can actually be as low as 16 hours. So going back to that bro split example, if you lift chest on Monday and you're only growing for 16 hours after training, you have 6 full days of just wasted time. You're not growing your chest for 6 days. So how can we combat this? So theoretically, when we first start lifting, training everything once a week would be great. Then maybe after a year or two, increase to training everything twice a week, and then increasing everything to 3 times, so on and so forth, to kind of combat this adaptation of muscle protein synthesis activation. So basically the major benefit of increasing your training frequency is going to be increasing the amount of times per week that muscle protein synthesis is triggered. So basically you're increasing the amount of time that you're growing compared to other training styles. Now a lot of people might be a little confused when I talk about this, and they might be saying, okay, well I train chest once a week. If I all of a sudden go to 3 times per week, that's going to be triple what I'm normally doing, and I may be overtrained or I may get injured. And that's actually not how increasing training frequency should work. Basically, if you're doing 10 sets on chest once a week and you want to increase to twice a week, you don't do 20 sets. You would just take that 10 sets and split it up. So you'd be doing 5 sets one day, 5 sets another. Or if you go 3 times a week, it might be 3 sets, and then 4 sets, or however you would want to break it up. So essentially you're doing the same total volume, you're just splitting it up into different training sessions, thus triggering protein synthesis more often using the same volume. But theoretically the volume is the same because you're still doing 10 sets, but in actuality training volume will increase because every session you're coming in fresher, you'll be stronger each session, which will allow you to push more weight. So if you do 10 sets on chest, by sets 7 through 10, you're in a very fatigued state and you're not going to be able to put forth 100% effort. You're going to be pushing minimal weight. But if you do 3 sets of 10 one day and then do 3 sets of 10 another day, you're going to be able to push more weight, thus increasing training volume. So the way you figure out training volume is sets times reps times weight. So if you're doing 10 sets of 10 at 100 pounds and then you're totally fried, that would be your 10 times 10 times 100. That's your training volume. But if you did 3 sets of 10, you'd be able to use more weight. So you'd do 3 sets of 10 at maybe 130 pounds, 3 sets of 10, 130 pounds, and then 4 sets of 10 at 115 pounds, something like that as an example. So then if you calculated it, total training volume would be greater. So since you're splitting it up, you're able to put forth more effort, lift more weight during each session. So you'll be able to get stronger faster because you're using more weight and you're increasing training volume slightly. And that's another major benefit, is just the amount of effort that you're able to give each exercise, because you're not going completely to total exhaustion or failure every session, but you're breaking it up, allowing yourself to come in more fresh. Now, this next benefit applies more to powerlifters or people training for a specific sport, but it has to do with specificity. So a major key at getting good at anything is practice and repetition. So if you're a powerlifter and you want to get better at squatting, only squatting once a week is not going to give you very much practice. But coming in and squatting 2, 3, 4 times a week is going to give you that practice. It's going to get you used to squatting more often, and it's going to become a more natural motor pattern. That motor pattern is going to be ingrained into your brain because you're doing it more often and you're doing it at a higher frequency. So if you do 10 sets of 10 on squats one day, you're only practicing one day, and then it's almost like by the next week you almost kind of have to relearn that movement. But if you're always doing that movement, then you're just going to get very good at that movement, which will translate to your sport a lot better than only doing it once a week. So now let's talk about how you can actually adjust your own training program to increasing the frequency. So what I did is I basically wrote down all the exercises for each individual body part that I do. So right now I'm on a push-pull legs repeat split. So what I did is I wrote down my first push day, my second push day, and I separated it, all the pressing movements or all the chest movements, I separated that. And I looked at total sets and reps. Basically, it's more important just to look at sets. So say I'm doing 10 sets one day, 10 sets another day. Basically, you just then divide and split it up into, an equal number of sets per session per week. So it's not really that complicated. Just write down everything you're doing now and then just distribute it evenly throughout the training sessions. And so a quick disclaimer, if you're training everything one time per week now, don't automatically go to 3, 4, or 5 times a week. Ease your way up. Go from 1 to 2, and if you're at 2, go to 2 to 3. Don't make major jumps because it can be, a little rough on your body, increasing the frequency. And if you jump from 1 to 3, your likelihood of injuring yourself is going to be a lot higher than if you just go 1 to 2. And also, when you do first switch, I would take the first week as kind of an introduction week. So kind of go in and don't go to failure. Don't work at 100% maximum capacity every day. I'd say go in, do about 90% of what you normally do. That way your body can kind of adjust to the higher frequency, and then the following week go ahead and go full steam. So a quick recap before we go, why you should be increasing your training frequency. 1, you're going to be increasing the amount of times you're stimulating muscle growth per week. So do you want to be growing for 2 days a week, or do you want to be growing for all 7 days of the week? Another one is you're going to be able to put forth more effort per training session, thus stimulating a better growth response because you're able to use more total volume. If you're a power lifter, you're going to be able to work at a higher percentage of your 1 rep max more often, which is exactly what you want to be doing. If you're training for a 1 rep max, do you want to be training with 60%, or do you want to be training closer to that 1 rep max? So you're going to be able to stimulate a better, specific response, especially if you're a power lifter. You're also going to be able to practice that movement more often making it more second nature, making you better at the movement, and it's just going to increase strength overall. That's pretty much the video. I haven't done a video in a while, so if I kind of babbled and none of this made sense, please leave comments down below, and hopefully I'll get a training video out soon of the new split. That way you guys can kind of see what I'm doing, how I'm working it, and I'll kind of also explain the direction this channel will be going in the future. But I appreciate you guys watching. If you enjoyed it and found it useful, please thumbs it up. Leave some comments, any questions, all that. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. But hopefully I'll see you guys soon, and it won't be another 2 months till my next video. But thanks for watching. See you guys.